Hey, listeners. Now, I'm imagining all of you saying, "Hey, Jenn." Welcome to What Are You Listening to this week? I'm Jenn Tully, and this week we're going to do things a little bit differently. After every episode that's been recorded, I've asked my guests if we can take a few more minutes after the show to dig a little bit deeper into a song, their creative process, or just music in general. So these Deep Tracks episodes are what we're going to share with you this week. Just a couple of them, and if you like them, we'll have more throughout the year. Please take a listen and tell us what you think. You can find us on Instagram at Super Awesome Mix. Enjoy the show, and we'll be back next week with the regular format. Thanks for listening, and tune in again next week to find your new favorite song. All right, here I am for Deep Tracks with Jenn Cohen. So, Jenn, I have a question for you. I know that in the intro we mentioned that you are an intuitive consultant. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that means or what that is or how I would maybe engage with an intuitive consultant?
Yeah, of course. So probably the easiest way to explain it is everyone has intuition. It's the gut feeling that you've had in your life. It's just a knowing that you know to your core, to your soul. Um, Traditionally, I would say most of us are not using our intuition as much as we could be during our daily life in making and in decisions that are really important to us, whether that be around, a job, around a relationship, around maybe a move. It doesn't even have to be that major, but slowing down and being able to listen to our intuition, it never steers us wrong. We get really caught up in stories that we tell ourselves, and by tapping into our intuition, it just allows us to settle the mind and really make conscious decisions from a place that I would just say energy or things, forces, let's say that forces know to be best for us.
Well, and it's interesting, too, that with such personal decisions, it seems to make sense that you would dial into like your most special or deepest personhood to get those answers, right? So it seems funny that it's counter to sort of steer away from your intuition when you're making these really big, like deeply personal decisions. That seems like just the right time of exactly when you'd want to tap into that, like source material.
Exactly. And that's so what I'm passionate about doing is, I spent my entire career up until this point in corporate America, and I've always had a lot of intuitive, let's just say, thoughts or patterns in my life. Of what, I just did that because I just did that. And it became even bigger when I decided to leave the corporate environment. And it's such a tool that is readily available to anybody at any time. And it doesn't take that long to tap into. And once you can tap into it, you can start knocking off, kind of these questions and seeing them from a different perspective in a very short time. My sessions are usually approximately an hour in length. And in that time, it's really amazing to watch people's energy shift from, I don't understand what's going on, I just can't get out of this slump, I just don't know what's going on, to, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, I'm going to do that, I'm going to be able to, see the hope of the situation rather than allowing myself to stay in the mindset that this is dire and never going to end. It is, and there's always a light to the dark side of things. I mean, Star Wars told us that, I believe. Um, and um, so I don't know. Consider me Yoda, right? I don't know. I'm really just, I'm there to be a guidance for somebody that's looking to um, find more light in their life.
I love that. I love that because it feels like you're not creating anything that's not already there. You're just helping people access it. And once it's like the whole like teach what you can like teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. Like give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Right? It's sort of like you like helping people get to that spot so that they can access it anytime they have a decision coming up. I love that. And now, just because I am such a lover of music and all things related, when you're channeling, whenever you're with someone, helping them tap into intuition or, their highest self, or just any time, do you ever hear any identifiable music? Like, do you ever hear a song that's like, oh, that's, John Mayer, Wildfire, or is it all just sort of like score, like cue rom-com score right now? Like that was something
Right.
that I've often wondered, like is the music, if you hear music, is it identifiable music or is it more just like a song or a mood or a feeling?
No, it'll be lyrics, which is funny because I'm not a lyric person. So
Yeah.
that's really how I know. So when I was going through a major transition recently, just trying to decide if I was going to leave a career and start a new one, um, a specific song popped into my head that was motivating me to do that. Um, uh, I'm not going to share it right now. I'm not going to share it right now. I'm actually getting like right now messages to not share it, which is very
Okay.
interesting. And so they will. They don't care that I'm on a podcast in a deep track. They don't care. They're just like, nope, you're not going to share it right now. And so
Yeah.
I do listen to that. And there will be a reason for that. And so, yes, I'll get messages through specific lyrics that will just pop out of nowhere. And again, being someone who just doesn't know lyrics typically, it wakes me up pretty quickly. I'm like, oh, that's that lyric. It's like I'm learning it as I'm speaking it.
Wow. Wow. That I was always curious about that. I'm like, that would be so cool too, especially like if you're in a session with somebody else where music is a big part of their life or they're a musician or something like that. I'm like, I wonder what, like if you would be like, it's so strange. Like, I wonder why I'm getting Steely Dan out of this. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I always wondered if that was, if music was ever like a discernible part of sort of what you heard.
Yeah, definitely. And I can remember a time where, like, it's a television show, the Survivor theme song came on in my head, and it meant nothing about Survivor, but it triggered a thought for me that helped me connect with the other person's what their higher self was regulating. And it's just it's so they use my memory of music,
Mm.
whether I think I've processed the lyrics or not, or it's like this Shazam of the universe where it's just like, dumps in, and like I somehow, can pull up the lyric tab and follow along. Um, so yeah, and it can be orchestra music, even like ballet to like emote a feeling. Um, yeah, so it's it's really cool. It's
I
really
love
cool,
that.
and yeah, a testament to just how magical music is.
Yeah. Well, and I love that it's both. I love that sometimes it's like specific lyrics to a specific song that you may or may not know you had stored in your brain somewhere, or, sometimes, like you said, it is just like a score in the background. That's really cool. Well,
Yeah,
thank you for answering my deep tracks questions. I appreciate it.
of course, of course. You know what? I'll give you another example, and it has to do with you. And you can edit
Oh,
this out if you want to.
yeah.
Is when you were deciding to do this podcast,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I sent you a song.
Yes, which you rarely do. It's not like it's well, not like well, yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm
No,
usually the one like sending songs. So it struck me whenever you send one, I'm always like, oh, I got to give this one a listen.
yeah, yeah, and it was. Do you want to say?
You say
It was "What Are You Listening To" by Chris
Chris
Stapleton,
Stapleton. Yeah, it was. So it
which
was funny.
again,
Yeah, you're not a country music fan,
nope,
first off. So
nope.
that coming my way, I was like, did she mix this up? Yeah, how funny though, like while we're here, two tracks like that, right? Two times you've sent me country songs where I'm like, where is this coming from? And it's the Little Big Town version of Better Man, which
Hmm.
again, like, we've already discussed how I feel about covers. And as much as I love T Swift, I love the Little Big Town version of that song even better than hers, even though she wrote it. And yeah, What Are You Listening To by Chris Stapleton? That's so interesting that both of those
Yeah,
tend to be country songs, which is the music that I grew up with. As much as I'm not a new country fan. I like country that sounds like country music, not great pop music. So it is funny to me that that both of the songs you sent me were country songs. I'm air quoting country songs.
yeah, yeah. So,
Good one.
yay! So here we are.
Nice stopping.
Did you know Super Awesome Mix has an app? Go to the Apple App Store today and download Super Awesome Mix. It's free. You could start creating and sending your own digital mixtapes in just a few clicks. Also, there's links to our Instagram account and a link where you can follow your favorite podcast. Speaking of which,
Hey there, what are you listening to this week, listeners? I'm back with some deep tracks questions for Lila Dubois and Miles Tobel. You guys, thank you so much again for talking with me about the album. I know that we chatted about this, but lyrically, this album is just so strong. I wanted to talk to you guys about sort of how that works. Is it like a 50-50 lift? Do you have notebooks full of lines that you build lyrics around? Like, where do you get inspiration? It's just amazing to me that for a debut album, and young singer-songwriters, just how amazingly deep your lyrics go. Can you guys talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah. It's honestly kind of all over the board a little bit. Some songs we definitely wrote together, like Hold My Tongue, Eyes Wide Open, like we really sat down and wrote those together. Some of them are like a little separate, like Miles pretty much wrote On One Hand. As I Like You was a song I wrote a while ago that we kind of brought back out of the archives. So it kind of depends. It depends where we are geographically too, like how we can write it together. Sometimes Miles will send a little melody and be like, oh, we have to make something with this, or, vice versa. So it's kind of free flowing, I guess I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But I think it's good because we both have kind of different styles a little bit. And so I think like where I fall, he makes up for it, and like vice versa. So I think it kind of works.
Yeah, Lila tends to be like hers are very like poetic and like abstract. I like very like linear, like very like I don't know, like narrative
like tangible,
stuff.
Yeah.
But then we kind of just try to combine and find a happy medium.
And we do argue a lot.
We do argue, but it's all in with love.
It's all in good fun,
yeah.
but we definitely do like debate a lot.
We debate.
A lot of the songs have gone through many different versions, and sometimes like, oh, we just have to scrap this whole thing and write a new one together because we can't decide.
Yeah.
I love that though. And again, like I feel like that is part of your process, because like I said, the thing that I wrote down, almost like every track, was just how supported and how giving you were to one another. So I think probably a little bit of, arguing and blood, sweat and tears and having skin in the game is probably what makes that support and like the flip side of those emotions so palpable in the album, to where you can literally feel them when you guys are singing together. You brought this up a little bit, but I have to ask. So, new recording 512. Tell me about that. Because was it the 512th time that you recorded? Were you in Austin? Because that's an Austin area code. So that's immediately what I thought of, is because that's where I'm based, is in Austin, Texas. So I was like, oh, did they record this in Austin? So can you tell me about that one?
This is just, it's the very first recording ever of Hold My Tongue. Like, we wrote it in Lila's room. Obviously, the lyrics are different in that recording. And it wasn't actually the 512th recording on my phone, but we released Hold My Tongue. This is another weird Easter egg, but we released Hold My Tongue on May 12th. Mm-hmm. And then we also, in the song, it says...
oh yeah, May 12th, and now it's June.
Yeah, now it's June or whatever. Yeah, mm-hmm. So that's why we named it New Recording 512. We just figured it's just like, it's literally just a voice memo, but like it just felt like a nice little bookend to the album, or like an afterthought almost.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Love it. Yeah, I love that too. So that was my second question. I'm like, I have to know where they got the 512, but then I forgot about the lyric in the song where it talks about it being May and then now it's June. So that makes sense too. Well, thank you again so much. I love the album. I love talking to you guys, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the time. And listen to our